Hi everybody, Brad McCullough here, Advanced Technology Services. In a previous video, I introduced the concept of a factory maintenance assessment, an assessment that really helps you understand how your maintenance is performing and how it can be improved. I also talked about 7 categories of investigation, areas that we'd look at in detail to really understand how the maintenance program is working and try to find a way to improve it. Now we're going to take a look at each one of these categories individually and kind of get into the subcomponents. Talk a little bit more about how we would dive into this and understand how maintenance is performing and how we might be able to improve it. So let's take a look. So let's talk about organizational alignment, one of the key components of a factory maintenance effort. Organizational alignment is the business area around maintenance. It's how we organize and communicate. Oh, here are the categories that we look at when we assess a maintenance organization. First, we talk about manufacturing awareness. We talk to maintenance people and ask them if they understand, what the priorities are, the business condition. In this particular case, we rated it a 1, which is low and red, meaning that has to be improved first. So we want the maintenance team to understand the business conditions, what the priorities are, critical equipment 1, 2, and 3, and really where their focus should be. And you should be able to go and talk to any maintenance person and get a good flavor for what's going on in the business and what their priorities are. The second one is the maintenance plan. Planning around predictive and preventive work, what the operators are going to do, what maintenance is going to do, what contractors are going to do. It's a little bit of work scope management, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Communications plan. How are we talking with production? Priorities change daily, right? So is there a good communication plan? Is there a strong cadence between the communications? Are we working together to attack the problems of the day and achieve the goals of the plan? Measurement system. You can't really improve unless you're measuring, right? We've all heard that before. Are we measuring, failures by department, mean time between failure, mean time to repair, total downtime? Do we have production metrics? Are we correlating how the plant's performing to what maintenance is doing? And are we getting the value that we want? Performance reporting. Is there a time where we sit down and we go through the measurements and say, how are the assets performing? Who's doing what? What's working? What isn't working? Do we have charts and measurements and actions, owners, and due dates to those? And those action owners could be production, operations people, it could be engineering people, it could be maintenance people, it could be a contractor. So what are the actions, and are we writing them down? Are we tracking them? Are we reporting them monthly to make sure that we're moving this thing forward? Maintenance work scope, who does what? Are we clear on that? Whose responsibility is what? It can't be, if you have 200 people in the plant and 20 maintenance people, it can't just be 20 maintenance people thinking about how the assets perform and how they work. It has to be 200. Everybody has to have some kind of a role, even if it's observational in nature, and raising your hand and go, hey, I see a problem, and we get on it, right? And then continuous improvement. Is there a methodology for driving continuous improvement? We use a 3-up format or a 4-up format in our charting, which is a very continuous improvement driven methodology, which we can talk about later. So those are some of the components that we get involved in, and we make sure and we rate them all. This is the I've already presented on the other 6, so this would be the 7th one. They're all important. They all need to be reviewed, and depending on what's going on in your plant, some are more important than others. So I like the 1 through 5 rating scale. I've talked about that before. And then color code them about which one. Red is what we work on first, yellow second, green is what we might work on third. And everybody starts at a 3. And then if I rate it lower, I have to explain why. And if I rate it higher, that's doing well, I have to explain that why too. So that's kind of the discipline that forces us to pay attention and communicate what we see. So those are the 7 keys. We've talked about them all. You can look at the other videos and get a flavor for it. Please feel free to reach out to me, ask questions. If you need some help in an area, you can reach out to me too. Hope this helps. We We've used this methodology for a long time, clear back in 2005. So it works and it really helps people improve. Thanks. Hope you have a great day.